Today, we're diving into a topic that touches millions of lives, but it's a battle that's so often fought in secret: depression. We're going to look at it not just as a medical term, but as the quiet, personal war that so many people are waging inside themselves every single day. To really understand why this conversation is so urgent, we have to start with the most severe consequence. Look at this number. This isn't just a statistic. It's somewhere between 36,000 and 40,000 people, lives lost to suicide in Vietnam every year because of depression. This, right here, is why we absolutely have to talk about this. And behind every single one of those numbers is a human story, a story of feeling completely and utterly alone. It's the experience of, as someone put it, just sinking deeper and deeper into this feeling of helplessness and despair. You know, that feeling where you don't even know where to begin to pull yourself back up? So that leads us to a really important question. Why is depression so often called a silent killer? Well, it's because it works in the shadows, completely unseen, often until it's far too late. Okay, first things first, let's get on the same page about what depression actually is. Clinically, it's a recognized mood disorder. And this is so important because it means it's not a choice. It's not a sign of weakness, and it's definitely not something a person can just snap out of. It is a legitimate medical condition. I think this metaphor just perfectly captures how sneaky depression can be. It's not this sudden, dramatic fall. No, it's more like a slow, gradual push. People often don't even notice they're being nudged closer and closer to the edge until they're in a really dangerous place. And that slow push brings us to the core problem here. How can you possibly see something that someone is trying their absolute hardest to hide? You see, a lot of people with depression, especially those who are high-functioning, they become masters of disguise. So let's pull back the curtain on some of those hidden signs. First up, you might notice someone is way more emotionally sensitive. A casual comment, something you wouldn't think twice about, might suddenly trigger a huge reaction, like tears or a flash of anger. It's because they're already dealing with so much pressure internally that it just doesn't take much to make it all spill over. Or maybe you've noticed a friend who used to be so full of life and optimism, but now they're just more cynical. They've become pessimistic. That shift can be really subtle, but it's a huge sign. It's like they've lost their faith in things, and the world just looks a lot darker to them now. Now, this next one might sound a little backward. I mean, depression is supposed to kill your motivation, right? But for some people, hiding it, overworking becomes their escape. They pour every ounce of their energy into their job, becoming obsessed with success, because it gives them a sense of purpose and, frankly, distracts them from the pain. And let's be clear, depression isn't just constant sadness. A lot of the time, it looks like irritability or sudden bursts of anger. The person might seem totally fine one minute and then get set off by something small the next. That's because they're constantly fighting back these feelings of frustration and hopelessness. This is a major red flag. To try and numb that internal pain, some people turn to alcohol or other substances. The statistics are pretty alarming. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, almost 1 out of every 5 people with depression also struggles with substance abuse. It's a desperate attempt to self-medicate. You know, depression doesn't just mess with your emotions. It physically impacts your brain's ability to function. It can affect your memory and your focus, so this might look like someone who is suddenly forgetful or they can't seem to follow a conversation. It's not that they don't care, it's that their mind is just completely overwhelmed. Have you ever seen this happen? Someone reaches out, they hints that they're not okay, and then they immediately take it back. They say, "Oh, never mind, it's nothing." People hiding depression often feel like a massive burden. They're desperate for help, but the second they ask for it, this wave of guilt washes over them. And finally, all of this leads to what's often called the happy mask. This is the person who's always smiling, always the life of the party, always cracking jokes. It's all a defense mechanism. They pour an unbelievable amount of energy into keeping up this appearance because they are terrified of what might happen if that mask ever slips. So after seeing all these hidden signs, you have to wonder, where does this struggle even come from? Figuring out the origins is a huge part of understanding the illness. The truth is, there's no single simple answer. Depression is almost always caused by a complex mix of things. It could be your genetics or the chemistry in your brain. It could be triggered by a traumatic event or chronic pain or just intense pressure from life. More often than not, it's a combination of a bunch of these things happening all at once. And to put this into perspective, let's zoom out. In Vietnam, about 30% of the entire population is dealing with some kind of mental health disorder. Now look at that chart. Of that group, depression makes up a massive 25%. So this is not some small niche issue. It's a huge public health challenge. Okay, after looking at the signs, the causes, and just how serious this is, it can feel pretty heavy. I get it. But here's the most important part of this whole conversation. There is a path forward. There is hope, and there are real, concrete steps people can take to get better. The road to recovery isn't just one thing. It's a combination of things. Number one, and this is the big one, is getting professional help, whether that's therapy or medication. Then there's physical activity. Things like yoga or running can do wonders for your mood. Your diet matters too, and so does breaking the silence, sharing your story and connecting with people. Finally, it's about learning what your triggers are and figuring out how to manage them. And we have to be realistic here. This quote says it all. Fighting depression is a long and difficult journey. It's not a quick fix. It takes an incredible amount of determination and patience. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days, but the goal is to just keep moving forward. But if you take away just one single thing from our time together today, please let it be this. The most powerful, most important step is always the very first one. And that step is breaking the silence. Whether it's for you or for someone you care about, just starting the conversation, asking for help, or asking, "Are you really okay?" That's what kicks off the entire healing process. And so that leaves us with one final question to think about. Now that you know the signs, now that you understand a little more about this silent battle, what can you do to help? How can you be that person for your friends, your family, or your community? Just by being here and learning, you've already taken the first step.
Health is the most precious gift. If this video helped you or someone you love, please like, subscribe, and share so more families can stay safe and healthy.